Hey Ninja fans, it's Kaylee Water Ninja here with another mermaid video. Now, after my first mermaid video, which is my mermaid transformation video, I decided that I needed to rev it up and do another one. So I decided that I would answer some frequently asked questions to mermaids, and I even have some personal ones that I got from some fans that I'm going to answer. Now, if you want me to answer one of your questions in the next mermaid video, then make sure to put it in the comments down below. Well, I think that's enough talk. Let's get into the video. So here's a good view of my tail. Isn't it so cool? I love it so much. Okay, so I'm going to start with the frequently asked questions. So the first common question is, what types of mermaids are there? So there are three basic types. There's human-born, mermaid-born, and hybrid. So human-born is basically you were born from a human, and you were turned into a mermaid by way of either environment, spell, or artifact. So those are the ways that you can be transformed into a mermaid like this. And as you become a mermaid, you can, get the basic powers, which I'll talk about later, and you turn into a mermaid upon water, and you get your legs when you dry off. And that's the basics for being a human-born. Now, a hybrid is very similar to that because their powers and the way they turn into a mermaid is the same way. The only thing is they're born from a mermaid parent or merman parent and a human parent. So that's how that works. And so a mermaid-born, they are pure mermaid, and some of them can even be immortal. They're also naturally more powerful, and most of them can't turn into a human. They can't get legs or anything unless they have an artifact to help them with this. Some are daylight necklace, wristband of flexibility, and transformation charm. These are some things that can assist with mermaid-borns getting legs like us half-breeds, because that's what I am. I'm actually a hybrid. I don't know about my mer parent, but I did get all of this information because last summer I did take a trip to the ocean for all of summer and learned all I could. And so that's how I'm sharing this information with you, because really I don't have a lot of experience because I'm usually living my human life, but that's how it goes. Oh, another thing for the hybrids is that the way that they will first get their tail is from basically reaching a certain age or trigger from an artifact to make it come earlier or later or something like that. So that's how those work. So yep, that's the first question. Okay, the next question is a commonly asked one for sure. Are mermaids vegetarian? Now, I hear a lot of people that wonder, oh my gosh, mermaids love fish, they wouldn't eat fish, they only eat plants, right? Well, some mermaids do. Some mermaids are a lot more like that. Just like humans, they will not eat meat. But a lot of mermaids, like myself, please don't judge, I eat both meat and I eat plants. Especially because I do mostly live on land, so. But even in the sea, because there are lots of plants, but it's, there's a lot of food there too that's you wouldn't be able to, access if you were only vegetarian. So, yeah, mermaids can go both ways. Okay, the next question is, do you drink seawater? No. When we're under the water, we don't have to. We're like, dolphins and whales. We get our water from the food we eat, but because, we don't want to drink the salt water. But when we come above water, obviously we have to drink fresh water like humans, because if we're not in the water, we'll dehydrate quickly. Okay, the next one is, do you hold your breath or do you breathe underwater? Yes, we can breathe underwater. We have gills on our necks. It's just when we come out of the water, they lay back and disappear so that we won't, suffocate like fish out of water. And they're not usually very easy to see. They're very discreet. But we can also hold our breath for a very long time too. And it can take practice. Some mermaids can hold them even longer. I'm still working on that. But yeah, for the holding breath thing, that's how that works. And yeah, when we come up, we basically transfer to lungs like people. So that's our human side that kicks in when we come out of the water. Okay, how do mer people sleep? Now, we sleep just like normal humans. Some of us, we go into caverns, or some of us are a little risky and we go into the sand and bury ourselves in there. But for the most part, we'll like go into our shell beds, because the top of the oyster will close over us to protect us. But another protective feature that we have is when we're asleep, our ears are always open, even if our minds are asleep. So that means if we hear danger, we will be automatically awoken and ready. But that also means that we hear everything that's going around us. So when we wake up, we can think back to it and we can hear what we said while we were sleeping. So be careful what secrets you spill around a sleeping mermaid. It's one of our really cool skills, and also really good for detective work, though that isn't what we usually do, but just keep it in mind. Oh, as well, another thing that we do is we make blankets out of kelp when we're sleeping. Neptune grass seaweed, when it's balled together and compacted, it has 20% more energy than wood, so it's very good for insulation. That's why we use it for blankets commonly, among other uses, which I'll get into later. Okay, so one of the favorite questions that mermaids get are, what powers do you have? Now, here are the basic powers that mermaids will usually have. We can move water with our minds, powers, minds, whatever. We can heat it, we can freeze it. We also have enhanced vision, that's how we can see clearly underwater, that's how we can also talk underwater. Speed swimming. Yeah, those are the basic powers that we have. But if you want to have other powers, that's why you have to use artifacts. A commonly used one is the moon ring. A lot of people have heard about it from mermaid shows and things. And that can help you utilize other powers like making things waterproof, invisibility, weather, healing, all types of things. The other power we have is communication with sea creatures, but it's really only like the mammals like dolphins, whales, those kinds, and seals, because those are the ones that we will not eat. It is very frowned upon if you eat a dolphin or even a shark. We don't usually eat sharks. So yeah, those are the ones we mainly communicate with. Some of us will learn how to talk to fish, but it isn't something that you're just born knowing how to do. It takes a lot of practice to learn their language, because we're just a lot more connected with dolphins, whales, the mammals like ourselves. So that's how that works. Okay, so now that I've gone over the frequently asked questions that I thought people would probably want to know about, now I'm going to go into the specific personal questions that I got from some fans, friends, family, those people. Okay, so the first question we have is from the Incarcinator, and he asked, how do you get a trident? So that is a very interesting question, and since we're going to be talking about that, I'm going to tell you about the other kinds of weapons that we make. Okay, so when we make daggers, we make the handles out of hard coral, and we make the spears out of fish bones and shark teeth and stuff like that. We make spears from sticks, stones we find underwater, and sometimes just left over from fishermen that we can find. But the main question of the night, tridents, the amazing weapon. Now, usually mermen use those, but it's not only for them. Mermaids can use them too, of course. And these are the ways that we make them. So really important figures, mermaids, they'll have their tridents made out of precious materials, but those are very rare, and most mermaids like myself aren't gonna get their hands on those unless you make them. And yeah, usually they're just made out of dull metal that we'll find from sunken ships or different materials under the water. Sometimes when we're getting really desperate, we'll use like different spears and we'll cut them and weld them to make the shape of a trident. Like we'll take 3 spearheads and we'll kind of put them together and have the stick trident. And so that's how we'll do that. So yep, that's how you get a trident. Our next question is from Strom, and it's, what's your diet? So I already kind of touched on this with the vegetarian and, meat thing. And these are some of the things that we'll eat. We'll do kelp, seagrass, algae, octopus, clams, oysters, sea slugs, eels, jellyfish sometimes. I don't really like that. We'll eat crab, lobster, seaweed. It's very similar to kelp. Kelp is usually taller. Yeah, so that's basically what we'll eat. They're, just fish, basic fish. There's lots of different ones we'll do. But yeah, that's about it for the diet. Okay, our question from Lady T is, can you sing? Yes, we can in fact sing. As we can talk underwater, we can also sing as well. Any noise that we make from our mouths can come out. It's one of our skills. And it can be heard miles away, depending on how loud we project our voice. And this kind of goes into sirens. Now, a lot of people have questions about them. Sirens are not their own species of mermaid. They're actually just evil mermaids or mermen that decide to use their voices for evil. So they can learn this incantation that they use with their voice to lure in sailors and kill them, as we know. It's kind of like a musical hypnosis that they use. But yeah, that's what sirens do, and we do not like them. They're not very common, thankfully. So just watch out for that. Okay, our next question is from Why Don't You Get Eaten by Sharks? And Strawberry Waffles asked this. So, okay, we don't get eaten by sharks most of the time. Sometimes we do by really aggressive ones like hammerheads. But usually that doesn't happen because we can communicate with them and we have like agreements that if they don't hunt us, we won't hunt them. But some mermaids will hunt sharks, but not usually, because we really don't want to break the agreement and we don't want to have to deal with them. There's plenty of other foes in the sea and we'd like to have one less to deal with. Okay, from Sardonyx we got, are you from another dimension? Okay, that's a simple answer. No, we are not. We are from Earth, okay? We aren't from space, we aren't from realms, we are from here. So yeah, that's that answer. Okay, so for Malice we have, what are your hobbies? Now, okay, you may think mermaids are underwater, we don't have anything cool to do, we just swim around all day and hunt and survive and probably annoy people, but no, we actually have quite a few activities, especially if you can get your hands on a moon ring. Because, as I said earlier, one of the powers that you can use is to make things waterproof. Now, this is key for a lot of activities that we do under the water. We can get things from the human world or just find them underwater, and then we can use them. That's how we can read and write, because we can make the books waterproof. And that's also how we play instruments. Using the waterproof instruments and our vocal cords that we can use with our powers, that's how we can play instruments, as you've seen in popular shows and things. And we also really love to explore and map out areas. And we will also farm seaweed and other plants using crushed up bones for fertilizer. Okay, so we also like to make jewelry and apparel like our clothes using seaweed and seashells and basically all the things that we can find. We like to do that. Of course, I don't have to because human world, but you know, for full-time mermaids like Mermaid Born, these are a lot of the things they have to do. You have to get very creative under the sea. Of course, we love to have races, but one of the other things we like to do is a really fun game. We play ball with pufferfish if they are okay with it. And what makes it added difficulty is you have to avoid hitting the spikes. It's really fun to pass the pufferfish. I love that game. Well, I only played it once, but yeah. And some of the other things we'll do is we have like our healer mermaids, and they'll use various things in the ocean to help us when we get like burns or cuts, and lots of things that can happen on our skins, like abrasions, and on our tails. And here are some of the things that they use. So octosurl from Sea Whip can be used for inflammatory uses, like skin irritation. W-conotoxin from the cone snail is really good for pain. And alginate from kelp and brown kelp, when put on wounds, it creates a gel that is very helpful for burns and other things like that. So that's some of the medicinal things we do. And so these are some of the kelp things we'll do. Sometimes we'll dry out the kelp on land, weave it together to make baskets and also to make ropes and different things. There's lots of stuff you can do with kelp. It's very helpful. And so those are some of the things we do to be creative in our environment to survive, when we're not stealing things from humans, of course, but yeah. So our last question is from Kargar Darson, and it is, how fast can you swim? Through training and endurance, mermaids can swim faster. The average is 600 kilometers per hour, which is faster than the average dolphin. So we can go really fast, and that's when we're speed swimming. So yeah, there's tons of things that we can do. Well, that's all the questions I have, but it was so much fun answering these questions, and I would love to answer more. So if you want me to, just go down in the comments and put in your question, and I'll do another one of those videos if you guys want. Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts, my answers, and seeing some cool swimming footage. Well, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe, and have an amazing rest of your day. Ninja, go! Okay, here you go, hey! Okay. Dude.